Hi, welcome back to the Jac and Glen channel. I'm Jackie.
I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you'll miss any of our reviews. We at Ready to Love Reunion Part number 2. I was waiting all week for this, excited about this because they're going to get to touch on some things that they didn't touch on in the Part 1. Tonight, really, it didn't disappoint, but it didn't end the way I wanted it to end.
Absolutely not.
Alright, but let's get started.
So we pick up where we left off. Tommy's question was to Kyra, are you interested in AJ? What's up with that? And she was like, her heart was initially into AJ, but after that space where he was, it took a lot of hits. And so, basically, no.
She roundabout said it, but it's a lot of things. She took a lot of hits too. I mean, his heart took a hit. She took hits. I mean, she come back and find out that he had talked to Alexis. He had kissed Alexis. She's not into it, but she did leave the door open. That if they're friends, that if he gets to that place where he knows where he's at, that he could try to have a relationship with her.
Yeah, but she said she knows what she needs in a committed relationship, and she said it's not there. And so now, right now, her and AJ is not her focus.
Yeah, I mean, you know what you need in a committed relationship. And I think that was the biggest issue for me on the show watching it. You know, we always look at, is it dating or is it a committed relationship? Committed relationship doesn't mean married. Committed relationship means kind of exclusive with each other. But we find out even in this reunion part 2, a lot of people didn't think what dating was because we've seen a lot of different variations of committed relationships. They never really defined what committed relationship was on the show. I think people going on here had different expectations about what they wanted out of a relationship. We saw Kyra. Kyra really wanted somebody that she could commit to. All right, once they say cut, she's committed to them right then and there. And then there's some others who they knew that when they say cut, they still have to do some work to make that relationship grow and be committed. And so I think that's where we saw a difference. And I think that's where AJ's at and Kyra.
So a little after the whole conversation with Kyra about AJ, we take a shift. We don't go to one of the couples that's still left, but we go to, they talk to Troy and how he got ran down, got the name Sir Kiss-a-Lot.
I called him the Kissing Bandit. Yeah,
Sir Kiss-a-Lot. And so they run back through that, him kissing on the women, and Tommy said, how many women did Troy offer a trip to? And you see 2-3 raise hands.
Yeah, 2-3 raise
Vernicia said she was the first one.
Yep.
And how many people did Troy kiss? And half the women in there raised their hand. Tommy was like, that's half the camp, bruh. And Amber, Tommy brought out the fact that at first Amber was feeling Troy, but you know, she said, I got turned off by his actions. And then for you to say the kiss on the cheek is my signature move. And what Troy tried to say was, no, I greet people with a kiss. You know, that's what I usually do. She was like, well, don't call it your signature move. Say, this is my greeting for people. That
man was digging a hole for himself. Every time he opened his mouth, like he was digging a hole for himself. You know, Troy just didn't know how to... and what he was trying to say was, and they cut it off. You can clearly see they edited it as he tried to explain himself. Troy's like, it was a short process. I was trying to get the fire moving, or see who was interested in me and see what kind of romantic interest I could have by kissing them on the cheek. Then he had to flip it. So that's the way I greet people. And Troy just didn't know which way he wanted to go.
Yeah, but Tommy asked Troy, so what did you learn? And he was like, you know, I learned to be more careful and to watch what I'm doing, especially with cameras around. Tommy was like, bruh, camera or no camera. Like,
but Troy was on here for a TV show. He understood. Troy was here for TV. Troy really wasn't here for love. I think Troy was there. Hey, I got my name out there. If I happen to find love, good. Or if I get to hook up with 3 or 4 women, I'm good there too. Troy was trying to play the field, and that's what he wanted. He was there to impress and not to find love. And that's.
So next, they talked to somebody else. They got eliminated or told they weren't ready to love. Andrea and her catastrophe. That was funny. How she lost her cat. Long story short, she found the cat, but the whole point was all these guys that expressed interest in her, you know, when they came back to the lounges, you remember in the episode, Dietrich took the time and listened to her talk about the cat and how in the deliberation, he was like, you know, her cat, some people, pets mean a lot to him, and that was really affecting her. And Tommy's like, well, how many of y'all that's all in her face, and she in your connections, how many of y'all heard about the cat? And they hadn't heard about the cat.
But the way that Tommy was talking about the cat, like, yo, she lost the cat. Y'all got deeper with her, you would have getting the cat.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some of y'all will understand what the cat is about. So maybe some of y'all understand how to get into her cat. You got to get deeper, dog, to make sure you can hear about her cat. And it was just the way the play on words that was entertaining. And that was one of the deliberations that we didn't see. That was one from the season, from the mixer, the deliberation that we didn't see, or the conversation we didn't see. But it was funny how Tommy was playing on the words, and it was funny. They had a good time, and they really enjoyed about her. But she did find her cat. Yeah,
and she said what she learned is that she can be, she can lack assertiveness, and so she, just like Christian, which is funny that they would hook up, but she says, you know, I need to be more assertive. She did.
If you missed last week, Christian hooked up with Andrea with a little push from the rest of the cast. Stacy still helping Christian out to get a little push to Andrea. So it was, let's see if they work out. Tommy wished them well and see if they could keep the relationship going.
Then we get to the other side of the love triangle. Not AJ, Alexis, and Kyra, but the other part, which was Jason and Kyra.
Yeah,
and Liz was in that triangle.
Here we go.
Yeah, it was kind of So we saw a scene where Kyra and Jason went out on a date, and they were talking about mental health and how she dealt with depression and he dealt with depression and how he dealt with his trauma. And basically the whole point of the scene was how they had shared with each other, you know, kind of a more intimate part of themselves, and which also lets me know why Kyra was kind of thrown by Jason moving to Liz too, because you know they had conversations.
Not even did they have conversation; they had deep conversation. He was more vulnerable and open with Kyra than we saw on TV with Liz. I don't know if that's production wise, but when him and Kyra was having conversation, they were vulnerable, and she was more vulnerable with Jason than we saw with AJ. So she was more open to him. She felt kind of relaxed with him. You know, I made a statement on the last review that I really do believe that if Jason would have committed to Kyra, Kyra would have committed to him. And I still stand by that because, again, she had a deeper connection with Jason. She just was waiting for him to say, you know what, I'm committed to you.
But he did.
He did.
He did, and you can't be waiting for somebody to say, I'm committed to you. Like when he did, then she was still like, I don't know.
Because she didn't know about AJ yet. But if she knew AJ was out of the picture, she would have committed or would be willing to further the relationship to see if they can get to commitment. And I'm not saying he made the wrong choice. Don't get me wrong on that. I'm not saying he made the wrong choice by going with Liz over Kyra. What I'm saying is that I can see where her where she was kind of hesitant to make the decision with him. There's still two playing fields out here. We talk about how AJ was torn between Kyra and Alexis. Kyra really was torn between Jason and AJ. And so, which I would like to see them had her pick. I wish it was a woman's week to pick. Because I'm interested to see.
But we already know she wasn't going to pick.
But she had to if it was her week though. Because think about it, if the roles were reversed and if it was the women's week to pick, everything would have matched up the same. It would have came down to her to make a decision, and she would have to choose one. And I'm interested to see which one she would have chosen.
Her whole thing was she didn't want anybody to force her hand and force her to choose. I am a firm believer she would not have picked.
So she would have self-eliminated?
Guess so.
Because she would have had to have picked.
I guess so.
That's just on the hindsight looking at it. If it was a woman's week, she would have had to make a choice. Because everybody would have matched up the same.
But Liz would have picked Jason.
Liz would have picked Liz.
And if Kyra would have been in the same place that AJ was in. And so if Kyra would have picked Jason, matter of fact, it would have been worse. Because if the women picked Alexis would have had a pick, Liz would have had a pick, Kyra would have had a pick.
And then one of the guys would have
and then Amber.
Right. Amber would have picked Chris. Alright, let's say Amber would have picked Chris. Vernicia would have picked Joelle. Right? So now that leaves Kyra, Alexis, and Liz all having to pick two guys.
Between two
guys. Somebody was going home.
More than one, but one of the women would have had to go home. Because remember that from that we going into the last episode.
Going into the last episode, but I really wanted to see Kyra have to pick.
She wasn't going to pick because that was her whole thing. I can't pick.
Yeah,
she couldn't pick. But anyway,
yeah,
we digress. Jason's thing was basically the conflicting information got from her, like her indecisiveness. That's what he could not deal with, and that's why I said he said it, she wouldn't have picked. But anyway,
he was like it was the end of the week. It was the last week. The point that he made I thought was real great. I had to make a decision. He said I had to make a decision. It was the end of the week, and I just needed you to make a decision as well. And I'm really interested to see what if Jason, if she would have said, Jason, I chose you. Do you think Jason still would have chose Liz?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, because up until that point, she had been wishy-washy about it.
If she would have told Jason, I chose you, when he asked her when it was on the ranch, if he would have said, Jason, you know what, Jason, I choose you, I think Jason would have stayed with Kyra. If you look at the swimming pool, look at the ranch.
I'm trying to tell you, if she was going to pick Jason when they were at the tennis court, when they had that conversation on the side, she would have said it. She didn't say it.
I know she didn't.
She wasn't going to pick him.
Hypothetically, I know she didn't.
She wasn't going to pick him.
Okay, let's move on.
She wasn't. Kyra's thing was she felt like her honesty and vulnerability with Jason, there wasn't a safe space. Like, basically, she wasted it. Like, he took advantage of it. If she didn't make a choice, that he was going to go to Liz. And, she wanted him to be straight up with her and say, look, if you can't pick, I'm going. If you don't pick me, if you can't tell me that I'm going somewhere else. And he pretty much did that.
He was that, though. What did she expect, though? That's the part I disagree with her on. If he didn't choose you or you didn't make a pick, of course he's going with the person that chooses him. He can't stay in limbo with you because you're not sure. Mm-hmm. But I understand I understand that.
Mm-hmm. So while we're talking about Jason, let's just go ahead with him and Liz.
Go ahead. And
so of course they still nice and cozy.
They're still doing well together.
Yeah, they still doing well. And Liz says what works with them is they've got honesty between them, consistency, his pursuit of her, their spiritual grounding and communication. And Jason says it's because Liz put herself in a position to be pursued. Yeah. Like, she's a boss and everything. He said, but she laid back on that and let me pursue her and be the man and come after her and, not be aggressive or whatever. She was very ladylike. And they said after the camera stopped, everything was the same with them. They kept it going like it was. Because it's one couple.
That's what you supposed to keep it going, and they was able to meet each other's family. They were able to interact with each other, and
they've been. Tommy was like,
"That's the my man."
What's going on? Is the celibacy thing? Is the abstinence thing? Is that still going on? And Liz says, "No, we have been intimate." Oh, intimate like what? She was like, I'm still gonna hold my standard. It's other ways to be. Yeah. Intimacy is not just having sex. It's not just having sex. Do you hear me? Intimacy is not just having sex. It's not.
Into me. All right.
Intimacy. Yeah. It's when you can see into me. And so she was like, they're affectionate. And they shared that. And I like what Jason said. He was like, I know what her standard is. I'm going to be the type of person, unlike Amber, to try to help her maintain her standards. So he said, I don't let it go there. Because I don't want her hand her to feel like her hand. I'm putting words in his mouth. He didn't want her hand to feel like it's being forced. You know, he didn't want to put her in an awkward predicament because her thing is she want to maintain her celibacy. And he said, hopefully, you know, we'll get to that point where we can go there.
And you know, and that's a smart man. I mean, he's trying to protect her and keep herself, and she's trying to keep himself. I mean, he's trying to keep himself, and she's keeping herself. And they got an understanding, and that's key. They have an understanding. They know he knows what's going into it, what to expect, not to get anything out of it that, you know, he's not getting the sex out of it right now. He knows that, okay, she's gonna wait for her until she get married before this happens, and so we can lead up to it, but I'm not getting there. So he has enough unction. This is where you see a young man or the maturity in him. I have enough to know when to stop. I have enough to know when it's getting ready to go there, and I don't want to take it there because I don't want to ruin the relationship, and I don't want to mess with her. And this is what he said that was key. Not in this episode, but when he gave her the flower, she's pure in this case. In her eyes, in his eyes, she's pure, and so he wants to keep that with her, and keep that way until they get married. Now, you know, grandma said if you play with fire long enough, you get burnt. So I don't know how much. Let me see. I don't want to say anointing of how much. You don't want to keep playing with that fire or keep opening that door, because when you continue to open the door, there'll be one day that you can't put that fire out, or one day that you can't close that door.
But I think Liz is mature enough, age-wise, and in her walk, and in her celibacy, that she obviously knows that. So I'm pretty sure. I like to think they're not doing those things that will get you like hot and heavy, because she knows this is how I maintain my celibacy. So you don't go to those places because you know it's like that's like a gateway to go to the other stuff.
Sometimes you don't intentionally go to those places, but you.
I don't know. Okay, I'm not gonna be graphic, but with some places when you go, you intentionally go there, and you know those places will lead to intercourse, because there's something like intercourse themselves.
Hope Liz got somebody at the church, baby. You keep holding on.
You yet holding on.
You yet holding on. I'm holding on.
But keep on
keeping on. I'm holding on.
I think, like I said, she don't seem like no amateur in this celibacy walk.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she knows, you know, and if for anybody that's chosen the path of celibacy and abstinence, you know, you have to set boundaries, and you know, okay, we can't do this, we can't do that, you know, because it gets hot and heavy. But anyway,
when you open Pandora's box, it's hard to close it.
So the relationship is growing for them. You know, she says she feels safe with him, and them doing the relationship thing, it's not work to her, you know. So they are dating exclusively, and they are in a relationship.
And Jason said that several times. We exclusively dating.
Yes.
We exclusively date. He wanted to be made known that this is his woman, and that nobody else is creeping in, and he ain't creeping with nobody else. So he wanted to let everybody know. So I like them together. I think they will make it out. If they make it, I think I mentioned this also last. It'll be the first couple.
No, that Mario and Reva.
They wasn't a couple that ended the show.
No, okay, yeah, true.
They wasn't a couple that ended on the show with each other.
That's true. He
ended with Tandy and came to the reunion with Reva. Now, this is what I'm talking about, who ended the show together. Not any side relationships. Okay. So let's backtrack a little bit from Liz and Jason, which worked out, to Liz and David, which didn't work out. So let's just talk about David, period. Okay, so Tommy called a password gate, where the conversation he had with Stacy about, you know, I'm just gonna say it like he said. He was talking about when it's serious and we're in a marriage, that, you know, we share passwords or whatever, and it's a level of transparency that he's looking for. He said in marriage, she heard relationship, and she was like, that's a bit much for dating somebody, and even before you get to the marriage, that's a bit much. So what it ended up being was it was a misunderstanding of what he was talking about, and you can kind of see that from the clip.
And he wasn't saying I need your passwords when we dating, because that don't make no sense. And his thing was, I wasn't saying that I have to have your passwords, but what he was saying is that if we're in a relationship, for me to have it shouldn't be no big deal. But we should have a trust at the point where I don't have to have your password, because I trust you to be doing the right thing.
I mean, this is one of those,
or maybe not even the right
one of those
thing.
tricky situations, because again, if you're doing the right things, there's no need for to have your password. Unless there's a bank account or something like that. But just your regular general email, nah, I don't think so. Because again, it's got to be that trust factor. To me, I think the conversation was a little too much for the date. In my opinion, I think the conversation for the date was too much. When you getting there to marriage, when you talking about marriage and talking about things, that to me he has some trust issues. When you're bringing that stuff up on a date, there's some trust issues. Let this date, let your relationship matriculate, let this relationship grow, let it do what it needs to do, and then you have that conversation. You don't have, this is, as far as we know, this was their first date. Mm-hmm. And you're talking about past, that will scare anybody away. You want my past? We barely know each other's last name. Mm-hmm. Where you live at, what's your address, who your mama is. But you're talking about my past? No, man, and there's nothing to hide. And, you have my password, so for my email.
And I was gonna say anyway, for that, like, I didn't ask him, let me have your password. Let me look in your. It was never that. It was, hey, can you check my email for me? Here's my password. Or, hey, who is that text me? Here, this is my password. Unlock my phone. But we have never been like, I need your password for your email. He just knows what mine is, and I know what his is, and that's the way it should be. And that's what David was really trying to relay. But you're right, that was a bit much for that point. But what he's saying is, I don't ask for his passwords. He don't ask for mine. We just know it because we know each other. And I don't have no problem with him looking at my stuff. And he don't have no problem with me looking at his. I'm sitting here looking at his email right now.
It's wide open.
It's up on the screen. I'm looking at it right now. So anyway, but in the end, Stacy said it was good to bring it to light. It gave people something to talk about and to get an understanding and to open communication, so that people know going into this, where do you stand and where do I stand?
Yeah, and and have that dialogue and that conversation, how to bring it up and how to interact and engage in the conversation healthily. Mm-hmm. With some health behind it and a sound mind. Come into it like grown folks. And as
David kept digging his ditch, we go to the conversation with him and with a non-conversation because he wouldn't let her talk.
Him and Liz.
When Liz went to basically eliminate him. And I want to start with this first. The funniest part to me, like, not funny like ha-ha, when he was like, no, I'm letting you know I'm self-eliminating. And Tommy was like, bruh, let me tell you something. This is my show. I run this. And ain't no way nobody gonna self-eliminate, and I ain't heard about it. You should be coming to talk to me. And basically, the whole thing was, it looked like this. Stacy took it like a woman. Andrea took it like a woman. Some of these other men took it like men.
But he named those two specifically because those are two that David eliminated. Mm-hmm. Those are two that David said you have to go home.
Right.
And so, to me, and Tommy's correct about that, because if you go back to our interview with Rashid last year, Rashid said before he was going to self-eliminate that he met with Tommy.
Yes, he did.
That he talked with Tommy.
Yes.
And Tommy said, nah, dog, don't do that.
Right.
Go do this way. And him and Tommy had a private conversation before the self-elimination. So,
but you can't eliminate yourself, and the people on the show don't know you're eliminating yourself. And like Tommy said, and Liz said it too, what it looked like is, I'm going to quit before you fire me.
If it walk like a duck, and quack like a duck. Guess what it is?
That's when the boss call you in the office and you know they about to give you your pink slip, your walking papers.
You
just be like,
quit.
You know what? I wanted to talk to you anyway. I was gonna quit.
And he quit.
That's what David did.
He quit before she could release him, so he don't have to say, you know what? I got kicked off the show.
And
you did get kicked off the show, dog. You might have self-eliminated, but they was gonna eliminate you anyway.
Yeah, and again, the big thing was, like, bro, you came into it and you wouldn't even let me talk. Tommy says you didn't give her the respect to let her say what she wanted to say to you. You wouldn't let sis talk. And then it was a whole big to-do because Liz said, you said in front of your friends, you called me out about kissing Jason. Oh, did you kiss him again? And Dave was like, that's a lie. Why?
He said he
What
didn't say it in front of his friends.
have
He
to-
said the way he said it was, oh, you went out on a date with Jason again. Did y'all kiss? Or something like that nature.
No, he said what he said to his friends was, she went out on a date with another guy, and basically he was giving her props because she called and told him that they kissed. That's what he said happened. Liz was like, no. Sir. That's not what happened.
Well, I mean,
and he was like, I said, I'm going to use this word. You're lying. You're a liar.
He was upset. He got called out. He didn't want it to seem like again, David's playing cleanup here, y'all. And he's playing cleanup. He's on TV. It's his opportunity back. He know America has already been, crapping on him. They've been talking bad about him. Y'all done hit him in his DMs. Y'all done talked about him. Whatever the case may be. And he's cleaning up. And he's trying to clean up and make it a good look. If you don't look at it, if you don't think so, go to my man Little Black Book 91s when he interviewed David. David is trying to clean up and make himself look good.
Digging himself a hole.
He's
trying to clean up.
And I'm not saying he's not
digging a hole.
I'm not saying he's not trying to get it right, and it's okay to get it right, but admit that, you know what, I was wrong. I made a mistake at the moment. I eliminated because I didn't want to get eliminated. I messed up. I didn't allow her to speak when she should have spoke. I didn't give her the opportunity to share her piece or to say what the women said in deliberation. I cheated her out of this. Mm-hmm. And to me, he should have looked at it, you know what, it's out of enough respect for her, just like Alexis did, out of enough respect out of Alexis to go tell Ron, you know what, this is not the one. You're not the one. She had enough respect and the authority that week to go say, you know what, this is a guy that I was liking, or this is a guy that I was feeling, and I have to go tell him. It's already a hard situation for her. Mm-hmm. I had to tell him, you know what, you're not ready to love. Or you're not ready to love me, so I got to send you home. Mm-hmm. And I think that one needed to be looked at too. It was already difficult for her. He didn't see that.
Yeah.
He was concerned about himself and how his ego was gonna, how his ego was bruised and what it was gonna look like when he got sent home. So.
Yeah.
But he did give her a hug. He apologized. Tommy said, "Can we apologize?"
Oh, that was hilarious.
And can we give her a hug? And he gave her.
He gave her a hug, and he even tried to kiss on the cheek, and. Like Tommy said, which Liz laughed at. She said, what you say? He said, oh, that was a church hug. Because she patted him like this. And when he tried to kiss on the cheek, she was like, It's like when that I don't want to stereotype. When that old deacon tried to come, he tried to look for you all service. And come give you a hug and kiss. And you be like, all right, deacon, so go ahead now. Yeah, that's how she did him.
Because she got a man now. She don't need him.
But not that, not even that. No, but even besides the man thing, it was just like, look, I accept your apology, we can hug, but look, we're not going to embrace. I'll give you a hug.
Keep it moving.
We're not going to embrace.
Yeah, keep it moving. Let's keep it peaceful, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right, so.
And they dapped each other up, you handled that. Well, no, that was Liz dapping Jason up when he talked to Kyra. That he did well.
But, yep.
So.
Liz said, you did good. You spoke your piece. It made good sense. And when she dealt with her thing with David, they fist bumped and was like, good job.
They're supportive of each other.
I didn't like it at first. I wasn't sure, but I like it.
It grows on you.
I mean, not that I hated it before, but I was just like, I don't know. Because it really did seem kind of reboundish from Kyra, and it seemed really like the thing with the flowers. And Jason just seemed over the top to me. I felt like it was over the top. It ain't going to last long.
But some people like that, and that's what he does.
Over the top stuff, but. That's
what he likes to do, and she enjoys over the top. That's her way of saying, you know what, he's pursuing
But maybe it's just not over. Maybe it's not actually. When I say over the top, I mean like exaggerated. Like, really, dude. That's what some of it seemed like to me. But maybe it's that is him.
That's him, and she likes it.
Of course she likes it. Who wouldn't like it?
Because I over the top.
Who wouldn't like it? So.
Bring you some white roses.
No. No.
Purple.
Anyway,
we keep it.
So I've held it as long as I could. The heartbreak of the night. Oh my gosh, my heart broke. Cause I liked them together. Oh my gosh, Vernicia and Joelle. Oh my gosh, I can't.
Saw it coming. I saw it coming.
You saw it coming when?
I'm gonna tell you when I saw it coming. I saw it coming at the ranch. I'm gonna tell you how I saw it coming at the ranch. Anytime another man has to tell you to go apologize and get it right, Chris had to go tell Joelle to go get it right with Vernicia. He was gonna let that weekend go and be in his feelings, and she was gonna let that weekend go and be in her feelings. So when you eliminate people out of the middleman in your relationship, telling you, "Yeah, look, you need to get this straight," or "You need to get this straight," and you leaving it up to your own devices, it's not going to work. And we saw that at the ranch. That if it had not been for Chris, somebody in the middle, a mediator, they wasn't gonna get that weekend straight.
Well, yeah, and I think more than anything is because Chris really got a grasp of the fact that he was like, man, she hurt. Her feelings are hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to make it like men's feelings are less than a woman's, because they're not.
Definitely not.
But a man has to be very careful with a woman's feelings. And in that space, Chris understood that. I was like, man, she hurt because she really liked you. I think in this case, in a lot of cases, men could kind of shut that feeling off. Like, they detach themselves from that. Like, it'd be like, I'm hurt, but oh well, I'm over it. And women, like Vernicia's like I'm hurt and I'm mad, and so my hurt comes out in mad, and I'm so bad, I want to cry,
But I mean, in that situation, even to go back to the ranch, I don't think he was like this, speaking my truth. I'm gonna be honest. I'm speaking my truth. I'm sorry that you heard about it this way. Again, Ron talking, people talking, and it came back to her around about the wrong way, and that what hurt her, because he didn't say it to her, and because of one argument, he was ready to run or move on to somebody else. And I think that was the hurtful thing. Again, his emotions and his feelings were hurtful as well. He's been hurt as well, and he has to deal with some things in their relationship. She's, again, having a hard exterior but soft on the inside, and shows that love.
He knows that.
And shows that, and loves hard. All right. Now when you come to here, the cameras go off, and he's kind of, as she says, different, distant a little bit, out with other people, which you knew he was friendly anyway.
Well, her thing was, we were going at a certain pace when the show ended.
Mm-hmm.
She kept going at that pace, but he pulled back. And her thing was, okay, you pulled back, but you never communicated that to me and explained to me, why? Because I'm thinking we both going to be going at this pace, and then you say I'm going too fast, but that's how we did it.
But it shows me that they didn't have that. You got to have that communication. When the show's over, there's no one prompting you. There's no producers. There's no nephew Tommy. That communication has to take. How far and how fast do we want to take this relationship? Joelle brought an example up. She wanted to spend the night at the house. Well, guess what? He has kids. Mm-hmm. He, as a man, I'm not, because if it was a woman say, you know what, I don't want to introduce my kids to you, nobody has an issue. Nobody have a problem. I know people on the internet jumping on it like, how he say that. He's trying to keep his kids in a safe space. Not that their mama left, their mother died. Right? So who I bring into here, who I bring into this relationship, who I bring into this space, our safe space, has to be somebody who I believe that's going to stick around so my kids don't get attached and lose somebody else. Vice versa, but I can't have you spend the night here because I'm trying to set a standard.
Okay, well, he didn't necessarily say that.
He didn't say that, but I'm just going into it.
Second of all, let's not forget, Vernicia has kids as well.
Yes, hers a little bit older, though.
No, this is what I'm about to say to you. Vernicia has kids as well. So she's had kids his age. And so, his children's age. So, I know she understands that concept. So, I just believe that she wasn't saying, let me spend the night with your little kids there. because she's been in that space too. And she seems like the type that was the same way. Like, I'm not just going to introduce some random to my kids. I'm not going to have them around my kids. So I would like to think that, and again, it wasn't said, I would like to think that if she was talking about spending the night, it was when the kids wasn't there. You see what I'm saying? Because they in the same, I don't know what happened with her daughter's father. You know what I'm saying? But they both had kids and wasn't at a point where they wasn't married, but they was dating. So I think she understood that concept. But again, communicate that then. Just don't be like, his thing was, oh, she try to force my hand. And you know, she was looking like, what? Dang. We could have talked about that. I don't have no problem with that.
That's my point there. He never communicated. His communication, Tommy said it, and I kind of agree. His communication skills when it comes to stuff like this is lacking. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have that communication skills. He doesn't to deal with those type of things in relationships. And I think that was one of the issues. That was the issue too. Then she sometimes goes to the left, and I said this because he said, "Who did you say you gonna smack when we see them?" Because there was some issue or some rumors going on about him and Stacy, that he spent a lot of time with Stacy. You know, she talked about him Stacy rubbing him on his chest, and he was like, "We were just hanging out." You know, I'm friendly with every people on the cast. It's the cast hanging out. Again, we go back in the area, go back into the scene when she met the friends, or the episode when they met friends. That territorial spirit rose up.
Because her thing was, and she said this on there, she said her thing was, it wasn't even that so much. Of course she knows he's friendly. I don't think she never had a problem with him being friendly. But it's one thing to be friendly. It's another thing to be a little extra close with somebody. And that's the vibe that she was getting. She said, that's what I heard. Somebody on the cast told me that.
This cast is snitching, man. This is the most talkingest cast I know.
Yeah, she said somebody on the cast told me that. You know, she knew Joelle and being friendly, but it's a difference between being friendly and being up in somebody's face.
I really don't like that. Why don't the cast go talk to him? Have a conversation with him.
But she said he did the same thing. He did the same thing. Somebody might have said something to him, and instead of him coming to talk to her about it, which she said she talked to him about the Stacy thing.
Yeah, you gotta have that conversation.
Instead of him talking to her about what he heard, he was just like, "Oh, for real? That's what she doing? Okay." And that was it. And that was her main problem with it. She don't care nothing about him being friendly. Her thing was that it was told to her that basically Joelle said, "I'm single. Vernicia ain't my girlfriend." And he said, that's not what he said. Not like that.
Right. He said the question was asked.
He said he was taking his time.
Right.
And he didn't say he didn't have a girlfriend. It's just that he was taking his time. And they was walking through this thing. And it wasn't necessarily exclusive. But her understanding was that they were. So again, communication.
The bottom line with this relationship is there was no communication that was there.
Yeah, because she said he basically told her, you know, like, I'm not trying to date nobody else. I'm just trying to date you.
And if we're going to date, she said all she needed to know was the rules of the game.
Right.
If we're going to date and then still date other people, that's cool. If we're going to be exclusive, I'm down with that too. Let me know. And she made it seem like there was no communication whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And so this is where their miscommunication has caused a relationship. I was rooting for them. Mm-hmm. But I saw the signs. I saw the signs that was there. That communication piece in a relationship is kind of bad. That when you don't have that, and when you can't handle simple arguments or simple disagreements to get over those, it becomes difficult.
Yeah. And
even when she was saying there, she's like, better not let that happen again, or don't let that happen again. She's 40 years old. She don't have time for playing. And right. She ain't got time for fighting nobody. She's a business owner, entrepreneur. She's going to do great things. She ain't got time for foolishness. I want somebody who can ride or die with me, and we can roll on to the set, and we can move on and build together.
Yeah. And it was a little disagreement there. She was like, you know, I haven't talked to him. I only talked to him after the show. That I decided not to talk to him. I stepped away from it. And Joelle comes later and was like, no, we both stepped away from it. You know.
Yeah, the body language Tommy said was bad. I mean,
when they was sitting on the couch, they was sitting on each one on the end of the couch, kind of like their posture away from each other.
Like this, Joelle, and big gap in the middle, like Jake and Haley from Married at First Sight.
Yeah, their posture was away from each other. But I like when Dietrich, you know, when they went to commercial, Dietrich talked to him and everybody, Tommy said it, out of everybody, y'all was a couple like I thought for sure would make it to the end.
Yeah, dog.
Not of the show, but past this. Everybody was rooting and pulling for y'all. And Dietrich said that too. I know you hurt, but I'm pulling for y'all. You know, just go talk to him. Get it. And she was like, you know, it's a wrap. I'm done with it.
And he said he was done with it.
Because her big thing, her other thing that she said was, you and I both know what time it is because Dietrich told us, and we've seen, if you follow them on social media, Dietrich is cool with Vernicia. You know what I'm saying? They hang. That's why I said she don't have no problem with him being friendly because she hang out with Dietrich.
Yeah.
Okay? But his thing was, you know, go talk to him and get it together. Like I'm rooting for you. And her thing was, she said it's a wrap. They out there trying to downplay it. That was her other thing too.
And
when she said the conversation that he had with Amber, that Amber came back and talked to Vernicia about what's going on with Stacy. They trying to downplay it because when you looked at it when the conversation was going on, Stacy was kind of looking like, what? But it's a lot of people that was like, when they was on, because I was on Instagram, a lot of people like, oh, we saw the posture, the way Stacy and Joelle was relating to each other. It was a little bit more than friendly. I didn't see it, but that's what they said. Since we on some he said, she said, that's what they said.
They said. You know, man, look, man, at this point, they would try to get committed. They didn't get, everybody was rooting for them because they was a lovable couple. Everybody liked Joelle, baby. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, and I'm not saying he's 100% at fault. Not saying she's 100% at fault. They're both at fault because they have to be able to, in relationships, you're going to have disagreements. You got to have communication, and you have to be on the same road. Got to be on the same page. And that comes with communication. That comes with conversation. That comes with people just spending time with each other, spending time with each other's families, knowing whichever way you want to go. When the cameras ended, they should have tried to continue the same things that they were doing while the show was going on. Yeah,
because she said she felt neglected. We know he's friendly, but when you talking to everybody else more than you talking to me, come on.
Not even that. When you set this is for men and dealing with women. When you set the standard this high when y'all first started dating, and the standard's way up here, you're gonna have to try to maintain that because when you drop it down here, there's gonna be some sense of I don't want to say resentment, but like, dang, what happened? Same thing with women. Yo, if you set the standard up here and you start bringing the standard down here, men may not say it, but we're gonna think like, yo, what happened?
But also, in this is a unique situation because, like, you talking about in regular everyday life, with no TV show, no cameras. When you do that on the show versus outside the show, it looks like you was putting on.
It does look like you're putting on, and so therefore that's
like you was doing it for TV.
You're doing it for TV, but that's where she at, and they gotta have that conversation. I wasn't doing it for TV, baby. I still want to be with you. They were talking about the dates they went on, that he would wait in production for when she would film, when she was finished, he would leave with. It was just the whole extra 9 yards. It's like the guy who opened the car door for his wife the whole time. The girlfriend, while the whole time was dating, they opened car doors and they gave her the jacket, and then when they get married, that junk stops. And she's like, oh, what happens? And then when he start up again, she looking at him like, why you start doing it again? Well, just let him start doing it again because that's what you were used to in the first place. So I'm just saying, those are some of those things that men and women deal with in relationships.
But I'm heartbroken because I liked them together. Even she posted, a few weeks ago, pictures of, like their journey together, and I was like, man, for it to fall apart like that. Over something like, I feel like Vernicia, like she said, I'm 40. Because the whole thing was, like you said, Joelle asked her, did you say that you would slap somebody if you saw them in my face? And she was like, I'm grown. I'm not finna fight nobody.
She said it though. Oh, she said it. It's 100% sure she said it. Now, she may not admit it, but she said it. Because she never denied saying it. She didn't deny saying it. She just mad that he brought it up on the show.
Nah.
She's mad because he brought it up on the show. And that was one of their private conversations. And he brought it up. He was trying to bring it up to be messy. And like, I can't, and she was like, oh, I can't believe you said that. I'm not going to say who it is. And it's probably
She
Stacey.
said no.
She said it, dog.
She said no.
There's no, she said it. You can
but
see
she didn't say it to him. He says it was told to him that she said, I'm going to slap her in the face if I see him.
If you didn't say it, you would have been like, nah, I ain't saying I'm smacking no girl, blah, blah, blah. She said it. She tried to clean it up by saying I'm 40, blah, blah, blah. She said it. Okay, if y'all think
no, I'm not saying that you're not. I'm just shaking my head at the whole thing. Like, I don't know. I just feel like, I felt like in that moment, especially for Joelle, somebody that's been married before. Mm-hmm. And Vernicia, and how about just at their age period, but also for somebody that's been, like, I feel like these are skills that you would have had to put into effect in your marriage. I feel like I was watching some 20-year-olds, not some 40-year-olds. That's how I felt. Inexperienced 20-year-olds.
But you didn't know what his other marriage was like, and don't know what her other relationship was like. So they may, just because the age, they may not have learned and developed those skills.
But that's what I said. That's exactly what I said. I said you would think, from somebody that's been married before, like, some skills you should have developed. You really should have, but
I mean, they should have, and again, they didn't, and I think everybody was rooting for them. Because that's the couple.
Because they were so cute.
That's the couple we saw that from day one. Now, we do know he had other interests that he was going out with. He saw Kyra. Everybody had Kyra on their mind. Vernicia had some interest in other people, but she really fell head over heels with Joelle. And from day one, she was with Joelle, and she thought it was going to be, this is my, I don't want to say Prince Charming, but this is it. This is the guy. Everybody likes him. He's charming. He is what he is. And, I know some people I was like, well, look at his Instagram. Look at his YouTube. Look at his Twitter. Look at how he raps and all this stuff. Sometimes that's the entertainer. Then sometimes it is who you are. I don't know him, so I can't say which one he really is. I just go by what I saw on the show, what you see on social media, and see what I see on social media. I know he could probably have a heart. He's probably a kind guy and sweet guy based off what we've seen. And then again, there's an entertainer, and I don't know what his name is, that he goes by as he entertains. So I think when you see entertainers, they are two different people, at home and on the road. So, and because
I think sometimes entertainers, like we saw this with what's his name from last season, Raymond. Mm-hmm. You get stereotyped because, okay, you find out I'm a musician and I've been on tour, and so you automatically, even though it may be the case, you automatically get pigeonholed as,
Raymond had 5 kids.
But that's what I said. But I'm saying, but still you get pigeonholed to say, you get stereotyped to say, oh, you're a musician, you go on tour stuff, you're a whore. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes when people are an actor or an actress or they do whatever, so then when they show their emotions or they show a certain side, people be like, well, you do this for a living. You put on for a living. How do I know you being real? So I think, entertainers and people that are into like acting and music and stuff like that, I think AJ kind of got that a little bit, being that, he was into music or whatever. They stereotype people, and I don't think that's fair, but you really got to separate the two. It's like, okay, this is because people you have a persona when you are in entertainment, and that's not necessarily who you are outside.
And like I said, we don't know which way he was at home. But all we know we saw on the show, and we know what we see on Instagram.
She said.
And we know what she said. Mm-hmm. And so you gotta have to pick. I don't want to pick sides.
And he didn't deny that he pulled back. He didn't deny it.
No, he said he did pull back. Again, we all wanted to see some good black love.
Boo!
We all wanted to see some good black love. We didn't get to see that black love in that.
Well, we did. We saw with Liz and Jason.
And Amber and Chris. We just didn't see it with Vernicia and Joelle. So
yeah,
that being said.
So just real quick, so the last little wrap up when Tommy's final words. David said he is dating, and this is very new. That's where he left it at. Alexis says she's at peace with where she is, and she knows her king will come in the proper time. AJ says, you know, he realized that I'm going to continue to put myself out there and try. And I've made steps in the right direction to go out there and get what I want. Chrysanthemum says, I'm going to continue to date. She didn't put this on there, but she said like multiple people. She said that before. And if it happens, it happens. And KG said he feels redemption with his second chance. He feels like, you know, he was very grateful for the second chance. And KG, Tommy said, with all this shine, the prince and princess of Zamunda, are y'all doing that at home? Is all that shining? You know, no. And then Jason and Liz, you know, again, they're headed in a positive direction. Are they thinking about some trips? He was like, I'm thinking about maybe a trip to Hawaii. And then Tommy joked, was like, you might want to get with Troy for that.
Yeah, Troy can hook you up.
Yeah, since you talk about taking people on trips.
Take on a trip. But I think this season all in all was a good season. I think this season had...
The end was disappointing, but it was a good season.
This season, I think, you know, when you look at season 3 on the resort and you look at season 4, 2 different shows. But I think if this one was on a resort, we might have different results with couples. I think people would have lasted, couples would have lasted to the end. But the right thing happened. We got 2 couples out of it. Got 3 couples out of it, but 2 that are still together out of it. So, which is, hey, it's a success right now. And 2, I think, really will make it. I think both of these couples will make it long haul for the long run. I do think we see wedding bells for Jason and Liz sooner than Amber and Chris.
It's funny, the 2 couples that are still in there for the long haul is the woman that's practicing celibacy, and the other couple is the man that's on the semen retention program.
Yeah, semen retention program. I wonder how long Chris is going to be on that.
Seems like it's a theme right there.
Yeah, it seemed like it's a thing, but again, I think Amber didn't know that going into it. She knew it going into it, but she knew it late at this time the choice started.
She ain't got no problem with it.
Not because her goal is she's going to try to make him.
unlike Jason and Liz.
Make him not be on that plan no more, on that program.
Anyway.
So it is what it is. Hey, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification. Tell us what did you like most about this season of Ready to Love, and are you looking forward to DC? If you really paid attention to the end of this clip, Troy asked to be on.
He was DC. Like, I can fly up there. No, what about I get a second chance?
No, dog, you're not. No, it's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. And as you watch the previews, that Ready to Love will be coming back in the fall. We'll be coming back in the fall. So we don't. Well, it seems like we're getting 2 Ready to Loves back to back. Last time we had to wait for a good minute. Well, season 2 to 3 we had to wait for a while.
Yeah, with COVID and everything.
So now we're starting to get Ready to Love stuff pop out. So hey, enjoy it. I enjoyed it. The season got some great characters. Great people. I won't say characters. Great people on the show. I will introduce. We saw some great people on the show and saw some.
And we've had a chance to interview quite a few people from the season. So if we get a chance, go back and check out our interview with Stacy and Dietrich and AJ and Ida.
So, and we got some more lined up that will be coming out shortly. So,
and hopefully we plan to get back. We said we was going to get back with Ida and
some other people. So stay tuned here to Jac and Glen. In the next couple of weeks, man, we back to Married at First Sight. So make sure you look out for those videos as well. Trying to talk her into doing some other ones. Maybe, I know it might be late. Put a ring on it, or maybe Family and Fiance again. But we'll see.
Put a ring on it seems so messy already.
We'll see. We'll see what else. You just let us know what y'all like us to talk about, and we see if we can make it happen. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.